Thursday afternoon, just about 1 o'clock. Um, let's talk stuff. So I finally did make it to 300. So I guess sometime relatively soon, 300 subscribers, I will have to do um, 300 burpees. Whether or not it's 300 unbroken burpees, I don't know. I've been thinking anyway that I need to do the Pelican Bay routine, as it's been quite some time. That will give me 500 um, burpees, which is significantly more than 300 burpees. So it gives me room to grow, um, subscribers and burpee wise. Um, I'm also thinking I've gotten some great feedback from lots of friends, lots of YouTube friends on my channel. And, it's really, I think I told Osiris when he came on for a live session and chatted a bit in the discussion that I really thought if I got 30 subscribers, I would be hitting the big time. That I couldn't fathom why even 30 people, assuming that these were actually family and friends, acquaintances, why even they would want to watch, uh, late middle aged bald guy. Although at the time, uh, I was clinging to my COVID ponytail. When I was young, I had long blonde hair, um, rock star blonde hair, and when I started losing it, I was cool with it, no big deal. Well, of course it was a big deal, but what can you do? Um, and I didn't really think about it because it wasn't going really fast. It still had the ponytail, still looked okay. But I guess when I started getting close to my early 30s sometime, um, I looked in the mirror and I sort of heard myself in my head say, you know what, if I just comb my hair over a little bit this way, and I thought, man, I'm honestly thinking of a comb over. That's how it happens. That's how it starts. That little voice saying, hey, it won't look that bad if you. So I immediately grabbed some clippers and shaved my head. No thought, just do it. And I was okay with it. Fortunately, I don't have a too much of a malformed head. I don't have any outstanding bumps and um, other things, that really made me regret the fact that I shaved my head. So I was fine with it, absolutely cool with it. And then during my later years, when I started hitting my 50s, I started toying with the thought of the George Carlin old man hippie, balding hippie um, ponytail. Having started going to Grateful Dead shows when I was pretty young in my teens, uh, I was fortunate to see not only the Grateful Dead, lots of times, lots and lots and lots of times, honestly. Um, but I was able to see the original old time hippies, and I saw the George Carlin hippie ponytail, and they all pulled it off. It looked good for an old hippie. It doesn't look good when you're 35 years old, but in your 50s, I started thinking I could get away with this. During the COVID shutdown, I thought, you know what? No one's here to see the rough patch when it's not growing evenly, when it's doing its own thing. No big deal. Let's see what happens. So I grew the ponytail. I documented it on Facebook, uh, much to my friends' enjoyment and amusement, and general mockery that you only give to those you love. And I kept it for maybe about 2 years. And then, things opened up and I started getting out there more. And I started doing the YouTube videos with the ponytail. It's funny, I had someone make a comment, not a regular commenter. I don't think I've ever seen him since on my channel. and they said, you know, you would be 90% more attractive if you got rid of the ponytail, which really made me laugh because do I want that level of attractiveness? That might be too much for me to handle. Um, and what level did that make me with the ponytail? Does that mean I was at 30% now? What if I was less? What if I was, 5% with the ponytail and I shave my head and that puts me at 95% more attractive, 95% more of what? So it really made me laugh. Those kind of comments always make me laugh. I've been told by some good YouTube friends, as well as Mocha, don't feed the trolls. Don't give them things to talk about. Don't engage. Barefoot Burpee mentioned that I engage with the trolls. Not all of them, but some of them. If you see me reading a comment and I start to smile, it's because a troll came on and said something that makes me laugh. And I sort of feel not obligated, but I want to offer a salute. You made me chuckle. You made me laugh. Um, I don't take this stuff personally. How can you? For some reason, people like to comment on whether or not Mocha says it's because I'm soft spoken. So people come on and say, hey, don't make a gay joke. They'll ask me if I'm gay, which I'm not. But it's an amusing question in 2023 to even ask. And that someone just because they're soft spoken. And I think I'm soft spoken because I don't want to shout on a camera. Being an older person, I stop myself from texting in all capital letters. And I don't want to be the person with the newfangled technology who's shouting into it because they don't know how to use it. Speaking of which, a great comment from Burpee Bandit about making shorts. And somebody else mentioned making shorts. I think it might have been Burpee Maddie, which is great advice, except, as mentioned, I am technically deficient in knowledge and equipment. So I don't rightly know how to make a short. And I don't know what I could say in 60 minutes. As you can tell, when I'm doing a live video, they can last up to an hour if people come on and engage. I'm not going to make this one an hour. Even with my friends come on and speak, I got to make this one short. I have a yoga, two things, a yoga philosophy course. Well, a yoga philosophy section in my course. And I have a separate course, separate organization, yoga psychology. Excuse me, guys. Fascinating stuff. And I need to get back to that. So, sort of a channel update and my thoughts. Again, I'd love to do a short, but can I be that concise? Oddly enough, in my writing, I'm very concise. I don't like to use 5 words when I can use 1. In conversation, I don't like regular conversation. I don't like to use 1 word if I can grunt and do it with a gesture or a glance or a shrug. But for some reason, oddly, I come here and I use quite a few words. So I don't know if I can do a short or if I have the technical expertise to do a short. But hey, I might try. We'll see. As mentioned before at the start of the video, I really thought I'd be lucky to get 30 subscribers. And now a little over 300, unless I jinx myself and I go back down to 297. It makes me feel blessed that, even if half of them are just there for trolling purposes, the amazing thing is I had 2 people come on to troll during a conversation. And I engaged with them, laughed, made a joke back. Um, I'm not going to be cruel just for the sake of being cruel to someone. Just because they might portray that towards me doesn't mean I respond in kind. Um, what I do, my best, is to respond with kindness, respond with humor, respond with insight, if capable. And both of those people left on good terms. Thank me just for engaging, just for making them laugh back. Um, I doubt I can do that with the uh, probably growing number as an audience increases. There's going to be more people who just want to fuck with you, um, which is fine. Destiny Forever Walks PhD is here. As mentioned before, I love throwing in the PhD because it's just a salute to an individual's hard work, effort, intelligence in order to earn that degree. Should always be applauded. Whenever I get the opportunity, I like to applaud that. Brings me back to trolls and my channel and all that stuff. Regardless of what anyone else does, it's always up to me. It's always up to me how I respond. It's always up to me what I put out there. If I respond to that level of cruelty, that level of uh, energy, then I'm not doing what I set out to do. What I set out to do is to be kind, to offer insights, to be creative. If I can make someone laugh, I'm happy about that. If I can provide some insight and maybe even some inspiration, I've fulfilled the purpose of my channel, the purpose of the talk, purpose of it all. Is it possible to have a burpy and insightful yogic psychology, philosophy, creativity channel at the same time? Sure, why not? The channel can be anything you want it to be. There aren't any limits to inspiration. There's no limit to how I can approach this channel. Now, there might be a limit in how many people are interested in it. I don't care. I'm not doing it for the sake of how many subscribers, although that doesn't mean I don't want more subscribers, because I certainly do. I need very little to get by in life. I have a house that's paid for. There's high property taxes because of where I live. But so I have taxes, I have groceries, I have a big book expense because I love buying books. That's my one extravagant thing. And, I have little incidental stuff. If I make a little money off YouTube, I'm perfectly content. I'm set. My goal, seriously, honestly, if someone says, what's your goal? To continue living my life the way I live it now, which is largely, with the exception of my relationship with Mocha and a few close friends, very withdrawn, very, I get out in nature. I write every morning. I do yoga several times a day. I meditate twice a day. I do my breath work. I do that stuff that makes me happy. I consider myself a writer. I consider myself a yogi. I'm almost in a monk-like existence. Destiny says, you will jinx yourself. Just keep speaking positive and the good will stay with you and not leave. These numbers are genuine. Thank you. I appreciate hearing that. And you're absolutely right. There's power in the spoken word, and it's important to stay on task, to speak of the things that I want, speak of the things that inspire me, speak of the things that make me happy. It's not ignoring all the others. It's not bypassing at all. It's just choosing where I want to focus. I accept the reality that, the whole path of yoga, the whole path of Buddhism is how to lessen the suffering that we engage with in our everyday life. So it doesn't ignore suffering. However, just by acknowledging it doesn't mean we keep our attention there. As Destiny said, we keep our attention on how to get out of suffering, not how to stay in suffering. I remember reading, I believe it was Thomas Troward, who was a Christian mystic, maybe early 1900s or so, maybe a little bit later, mid 1930s, 1940s maybe. And he talked about the, maybe even earlier, Christian mystic who was also inspired by yogic philosophy, that the laws of flotation wasn't arrived at by studying the things that sink. So I'm going to say that one more time. The laws of flotation, things that float, wasn't arrived at by studying things that sink. We already know how things sink. When, hey, the Jay Jordan is here. Nice to see you, my friend. And Lewis is here. Thanks for showing up, Lewis. Destiny is asking if I saw the vid that I tagged you in on your community tab. I gave you a shout out and invited other people to your place of visit. I haven't seen that. I will look for it. Honestly, I didn't know I had a community tab. That's how technically deficient I am. However, when I looked at my last live session, and I saw the new people, and they all said that you were responsible. So a very big thank you. A huge thank you. I appreciate that. As well, the Jay Jordan has shared my posts, and I appreciate that, as well as Lewis has shared, and I appreciate that as well. And I really hope that I can keep returning the favor, as all three of you have been huge inspirations for me in so many ways. I mentioned before that the Jay Jordan really inspired me to go live, to just talk, to just do my own thing. I watch his live videos, and I just can't help but think, here's a guy who absolutely loved what he's doing. He's not putting his attention on the things that he can't do. He's doing what he can right now in this moment. And it's just, again, it's a beautiful thing to watch. It brings me back to that quote about the laws of flotation. It also reminds me of what Thomas Edison said when he was interviewed. 9,000 failures. Just a number. I don't know if it was actually 9,000. 9,000 failures on making a light bulb. Just couldn't get it right. And he was asked, how do you feel with 9,000 failures under your belt? And his reply, very insightful, I haven't failed 9,000 times. I've discovered 9,000 ways that don't work. It only takes one to work. It's the same with that law of flotation. You don't study, if you want something to float, you don't study things that sink. The Wright brothers didn't look at the ground and say, so how are we going to get something to fly? They looked to the air. They looked at the birds. They looked at the wind. They looked at everything that would support the possibility of flight. And look what happened. Look what happened in such a short time. From 1904, the flight at Kitty Hawk, to 1969 and a Man on the Moon, although our good friend Barefoot Burpee says he does not believe we put a man on the moon. Regardless, we've put stuff up in space, no doubt about it, because we have satellites fueling our cell phones. So we put stuff up there. in less than 100 years. Absolutely amazing. How did we get there? The same way that Destiny Forever Walk said. We thought about what we wanted. We took the steps to get there. The road to 500 burpees starts with a burpee. And yet, even before that single burpee, it starts with that intent. I'm going to do 500 burpees. You think it? Remember Emerson? Emerson said the ancestor to every action is a thought. It starts here, we vocalize it, we verbalize it, and it becomes. If you ask, how do you manifest something? You got to think about it first. You got to visualize it, you got to vocalize it, and you make it happen. Deepak Chopra, Milka always says, eventually you're going to have to talk about the 4 ways of manifesting strawberry ice cream. I learned this from Deepak Chopra decades ago. There's 4 ways to manifest strawberry ice cream. 1, you say to yourself, I want strawberry ice cream. And you get up, you drive to the store, you buy strawberry ice cream, you come home, you put it in a bowl, and you eat strawberry ice cream. Here's the thing, I already know where this story is going to end. Lewis, it is what it is going to want strawberry ice cream by the time this conversation is over. Number 2, second way of manifesting strawberry ice cream. You say to your kid, hey, get up and please bring me a bowl of strawberry ice cream. You can see there's a finer, more subtle level of manifestation. First requires the action from you. You get up, you go to the store, buy the ice cream, you put it in the bowl, and you eat the ice cream. Second requires less action. You're becoming more subtle, more refined in your manifestation skills. You tell your kid to please get you some strawberry ice cream, and hey, get yourself a bowl as well. You're a good kid. The third way of manifesting strawberry ice cream is you say, man, I sure would love a bowl of strawberry ice cream. And just in that moment, your spouse or your kid or a neighbor or the ice cream man or somebody comes strolling by and says, hey, I got this extra bowl of strawberry ice cream. Would you like one? Synchronicity, meaningful coincidences, the universe aligning, conspiring to bring you a bowl of strawberry ice cream. It's getting more subtle. That happened with just a thought, and it involved other people helping you out, making that manifestation come true. Each way you got your strawberry ice cream, 3 ways. And again, each more subtle in its energetic approach. The fourth way, the final way of manifesting strawberry ice cream is you say, I sure would like a bowl of strawberry ice cream. And bam, right there in your hands, strawberry ice cream. That's the path of yoga. Manifestation, using your mind to achieve your dreams. Is it possible? I don't know. I've seen some strange things in the yoga world. I've seen people use their thoughts to bring about. Remember the quote from Emerson that the ancestor of every action is a thought. So it's just the strawberry ice cream, it's just a metaphor. As Destiny Forever Walk said, you have to have your mind on what you want. If you have your mind on what you don't want, that's what you're going to get. More of what you don't want. Let's see. Dr. Destiny says, this is the law of flotation. When a body floats in liquid, the weight of the liquid displaced by the immersed part is equal to the total weight of the body. Interesting. I'm sure sometime in science class I learned that. And that's what was studied. They studied that very law in order to make these huge ocean liners to be able to not sink. We think how huge a ship is, and they don't sink. Absolutely amazing. How did they get there? They didn't study rocks. They didn't study um, big things that sink in the water. They already know how to do that. They studied that law, cosmic law, already in place. And knowing that, they were able to make these ocean liners. Same with flight. Same with space shuttles. Study the power of flight. Destiny says there's truly power in the spoken word. That's why we have to be consciously aware of what we're speaking. Whatever we speak, whether negative or positive, will manifest itself. And I think life bears that out rather significantly. If you look at the things around us, how did they get here? Good or bad? How did they get here? The whole aspect of yoga, study your inner world. If you're suffering, find out why you're suffering. And then do something different. Same as the path of Buddhism. So, brings me back again to my channel. Sort of a vision's taken shape. What I want to do. Very much what I'm doing now. I want to talk with my friends. I want to have great people like Destiny Forever Walks, like It Is What It Is, like Osiris, like the Jay Jordan. Come along and keep me company. Posting their insights, their ideas, their stories, all of it. What I'd also like to do, and I mentioned this to Destiny before, any of you ever want to go live with me and just have a conversation? It doesn't have to be anything big, doesn't have to be anything huge, doesn't have to last more than half an hour, 20 minutes. We just bat around some ideas, have a conversation. Lewis can come along and talk everything about the Raiders. And I'm perfectly content to ask some questions, to learn about the Raiders, to learn a little more about football, and have a conversation with my friend. Is there an audience for that? Again, doesn't matter. What matters is I get to enjoy conversation with my friend Lewis. I get to enjoy a conversation with my friend Destiny. And they get to put their stuff out there, whatever ideas, whatever thoughts that they have. I know Lewis has a marathon coming up in June. He gets to put that out there, to talk about it, to ask some questions. There's an art form to conversations. So just like in my writing, what I'm doing now, I think of it as art. Sort of a Jackson Pollock, abstract expressionism. Putting it out there and seeing where it goes, because I have no idea where it's going to go. No idea how this conversation is going to end. No clue that I was going to say what I've already said. It's all strawberry ice cream. It's all being manifested as we go. So I do appreciate my friends. I do appreciate everyone who subscribes. Those who've supported me in the past. This means an awful lot. With that, I will probably be saying goodbye for today. I got to get back to some schoolwork. As I mentioned at the beginning, I am neck deep in a yoga teacher certification, doing yoga philosophy as well. I have a separate course in yoga psychology, which is just absolutely fascinating. Studying a clear-cut map, thousands of years old, on how to escape suffering, psychological suffering, that is as relevant today as it was back then. More relevant today, because we suffer more today than psychologically than we did 4,000 years ago. 4,000 years ago, life was hard, rough. There was less to eat, more work to do. Conditions were brutal. health was fragile. But they weren't quite attached to these little things that we're attached to now. They weren't as attached to their own ideas, their own beliefs. They weren't as attached to their technological, boy, that was tough to get out, tools as we are right now. So, yeah, it's actually even more meaningful now than it was back then. So I'm going to be sharing more of that. I talked quite a bit about it the other day, about being trapped in the matrix of our own mind and how we believe that we're in charge, and yet we're always being pushed and pulled by the twin adversaries of attraction and aversion, ping-ponging back and forth. Destiny says, thanks, Eric McCarty, for the discussion, knowledge, and the wonderful fellowship. You are a blessing. Enjoy your day. Thank you, and you are as well. I appreciate the insights that you shared today, very much so, and your support, your help, and your friendship. Lewis, thank you for popping in and saying hi. The Jerry Jordan, thank you for saying hi as well. Very much enjoyed your company. I will see you tomorrow morning for burpees. Probably not going to be tomorrow for the 300. Tomorrow is supposed to be the mixed session with the dips and the pull-ups and the burpees, but I think the day after, maybe. We'll see. But it's coming up for sure. I will see you guys later.